Hello, hello. I hope you can hear me. I get so nervous for these.
Hi.
Hi!
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm freezing. I don't know how you're feeling, but it's cold.
I have the heater on like 25, so I'm
Oh,
sweating. But I don't know if I'm sweating because I'm hot or I'm nervous. So it's like a little bit of the two. Um, for everyone that doesn't know, this is Chantel. She is amazing. She is an experienced and certified psychosexologist, scientist, and sex and relationship expert with European and Australian education.
yes,
That is just, that is a lot.
it's a
Well
mouthful.
done.
Thank you.
Um, I think we'll just get straight into it. I've got my color coordinated notes because that's who I am.
Great.
I want to first start with kind of roadblocks to
Mm,
sex that a lot of women were messaging me about. And I've got a couple that I really want to chat with you and see if you've got any kind of advice that you can give them. And
yeah.
one of the biggest ones was having a low sex drive, especially for mums. A lot of them
Mm,
felt like they were just tired, they were touched out, especially after birth. They were like, I just don't have a sex drive.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's pretty normal to not have a sex drive after birth. We have to remember that the body's quite depleted. There's not many of those hormones that fuel our sex drive. So our progesterone, our estrogen drops alongside our testosterone. So basically, progesterone and estrogen fuel into and make little bits of testosterone, which is what we typically call like the male hormone, but it's not. We all have androgens, which are male hormones in our bodies, which help fuel our sex life and our libido and our desire. But all of this drops after childbirth. We also have to remember that we are falling in love with like a new little being. So all of our love and our energy goes towards that little piece of joy. Um, a lot of the time the husbands kind of get forgotten in terms of all of this energy that gets focused on the mum and the bub. We have new bodies. I mean, I don't have a child. I say we just as a collective. But I do have a fur baby, and I will say that my sex life has gone down since I got the fur baby because of waking up during the night. Um,
I get that.
and
I
yeah.
remember someone saying to me, like, because the puppy was sleeping in our room, and I'm like, I can't. If the puppy's in our
Oh,
room, like, I can't. That's just, and I think with the baby sleeps, well, I know for us, the baby slept in
mm,
our room for a really long time, and it was just like,
mm.
now is not the time.
Absolutely. Well, you just have interruption and noises, but yeah, there's new bodies. A lot of women also get pain as well, so you can't have penetrative sex for obviously a few weeks after you have a vaginal birth, and then with cesarean as well, you have got a really sensitive area there that takes a lot longer to heal. But when a lot of women go to have penetration after having a baby, they might get some kind of stinging, burning like sensations inside their vaginal cavity. And maybe it just feels like it's hard to penetrate or it's just way too sore to do that. And that's a condition called vaginismus, which sounds like Christmas of the vagina, but it's the opposite. It's like Halloween. It's really
Ah,
painful, razor blade like sensations. Um, and basically, this is when the pelvic floor is just really hypertonic, way too tight. And that's where we need to get a sexologist and a pelvic floor physiotherapist involved. Some women will have really bad tearing as well from front to back. And, obviously that's not going to be a really fun time. So I really like to ask people to just strip back their sexual lives for those first few weeks after having a baby, and start with just putting aside some time to be with your partner, to be present, because presence is a really important thing. And I think it's pretty difficult to be present when you've got a new baby in the household. You've got people dropping around, obviously not right now with Corona, but in general. And all your energy is just zapped, and you've got people touching you and talking to you all day, and you just need some space. So
Yeah.
just say, you know what, I need some time with you. I want to be able to touch your body naked. I want you to be able to touch my body naked. Maybe we can be under the sheets, but I don't want you to go anywhere near my erogenous zone. So no boobs, no bum, no genitals. I just want to know what it feels like to be touched, where the sensitivity is, where the pleasure is, because I'm going to have to adapt to this new sense of self as well. Um, and I think also that goes for the partner of the person who's had the baby. Often their hormones change too with the birth of the child. And whether that be a female partner or a male partner or anyone in between, whatever you identify as, it is a lot of the time a really big shock to the system, changing roles, and adapting to being a parent too. So libido is something that we can talk about further in ways that we can really look at how we maybe bring it up a little bit and turn
Yeah.
ourselves on rather
Because
than
I
turn ourselves off.
think it's like that first, for me, that first 6 months
Mm,
was all about the new baby and just kind of figuring out how I was as a mum and kind of putting Maggie and mum together. And
mm,
then it was almost like when we started to have sex again, it was almost like I had to remember that part of myself. And I think
mm.
when you're so focused on other things, it is difficult to remember that. And I think that might kind of lead to that low libido because you forget that part
Yeah.
of yourself. And I think society kind of tells us, oh, can you be sexy and a mum? Can you
Which
though?
is bullshit because you
Yeah,
can be.
100%. And it's kind of like, well, you were to get pregnant. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
It's really funny how, you have sex to have a baby, and then having sex spells erotic disaster for some couples. So yeah, I think you have to look at it almost like you're kind of um, like you're driving your own bus. There will be things that turn you on that will accelerate the bus. And that means that you will be able to move forward towards you feeling really good about yourself, towards you feeling sexy. Remember when it was like going out on first dates with someone and you would get excited about going on that date? You do your hair, fake tan makes everyone feel great. Well, in my world, it does.
yeah,
And
100%.
then and then you do these things that would accelerate your bus. You do things to turn yourself on. It's not your partner's responsibility to do that. And then
Oh, I
in
love
life,
that. I love that.
yeah,
Like it's our responsibility. Can you
absolutely.
give some examples for women that are like, okay, cool, I am on the bus, but I have no idea what pedal to press?
Yeah, well, what I suggest is if you have a piece of paper, write down the things that are going to turn you on, things that typically make you feel good. Maybe it's a bath and feeling really clean and beautiful and having your hair washed. Maybe it's a fake tan. Maybe it's having like half an hour to yourself. Maybe it's self pleasure. Write them all down in one column and then write down the things that turn you off. What are the things that are going to put the brake on that bus? Because those are the things we need to take notice of. Is it that you don't have boundaries around people touching you? Is it the fact that your breasts are being touched and sucked all the time by this baby? Is it like that you have no personal space? Is it that you just don't feel that great in your body? Write down all of them and just see what are the easiest ones that you can actually work on and try and remove from that list. Because owning the fact that you're going to have a new body is fine. You've made a beautiful being. You're not going to have the same body that you had beforehand. Maybe it'll be greater. Maybe you'll learn to love that body more than you love the original body. Um,
I agree. I feel like when people talk about bouncing back, I'm like,
mm,
no, I bounced forward.
yeah.
I bounced so forward because I actually was like, oh, this is what my breasts are for. Like, oh, that's
Mm.
that's what my uterus is for. Like, there was so much more respect for my body that I didn't fully understand before. So I think
Yeah.
that's really, really important. Like you said, just kind of owning the fact that your body is different
Mm.
and kind of just trying to move forward with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think giving yourself permission to be that way is the most important thing. I permit myself to be a sexy person. Don't look at this stereotype that other people push on you on how you have to be as a mum. You can be whatever you like. You can wear crazy clothes. You can dye your hair different colors. You can wear lipstick. You can wear heels. Who cares? This is up to you. It's your life that you're living.
The other thing that I would say around owning our bodies is I think a lot of women and a lot of women messaged me and said that one of the things that's stopping them from wanting to have sex with their partner is that they are feeling very insecure in themselves. Is there any tips that you could give on kind of like opening up a conversation with your partner about how you're feeling about yourself and how you're feeling about sex?
Yeah, totally. And I don't think that this is just a conversation for mamas. This is a conversation that I have to have with my partner, that a lot of people who don't have children have to have as well. And that's just going through the motions of life. You know, we're on this roller coaster together. There are going to be times where I'm feeling pretty flat, that I'm just not going to be into my partner touching me because I don't feel that great about myself. Maybe I'm feeling really pasty or something, you know, and there are going to be times when my partner is not feeling great. Maybe he's exhausted, maybe he's trained too hard because of his work, and he's just not going to be feeling good. My partner also is in a wheelchair. He has a different type of body to other people. So that is also about going, hey, like, I'm very comfortable with you touching me here. And I love when you touch me here. And I don't really love it when you touch me here because it feels a bit weird. So I think just sitting down, not when you're in the bedroom, not when you're going to have sex, maybe like, hey, I've been thinking a little bit about what's going on, and use some humor and put a smile on your face. You don't have to make it all serious and down and gloomy because you're not the problem. It's just part of life. And saying, you know what? I'm feeling a bit flat. I need you to approach me, but I don't want you to be grabbing my ass. I'm not going to respond to you grabbing my ass or my cooch. I just think it's really nice if you just give me some kisses and maybe make your way down my neck. And then I might be able to just fold into this a little bit more.
I think
Yeah.
that's really great. I know that for me, when my husband's like washing the dishes, I
Mm,
look at him and I'm like, yeah, that's sexy to
mm,
me. That's sexy to
mm.
me. So it's almost like it
Acts
starts
of
outside
service.
of, yeah, it's almost like it starts outside of the bedroom. Because I
Mm,
feel like once you're in the bedroom and they kind of go to touch you, you're like, oh, no, I'm not feeling it. But it's almost like you said, if you start that conversation outside of the
mm.
bedroom, it almost kind of gives more space to see what happens.
Yeah, and just saying like this is what I'm going through. Be really honest and don't, say to them, this doesn't mean that you can't approach me, because the best thing in life is feeling desired. Not in a frantic way, but in a, I see you, I love you, I care for you, I do desire you where you're at right now, even though you don't desire yourself. Just give them permission to still ravish you in the way that you feel comfortable. Um, and I think, just keeping up with that conversation and communication is the foundation of a really healthy sex life. I think that should help. I have a sexual self-esteem course for anyone who wants to do that. That really helps with how you feel in the bedroom. And I guess challenging, excuse me, the way that you see sex, how you learnt about sex, what are all these preconceived notions in your head about what sex should be? Because I think people think that sex is about penetration and orgasm, whereas that's not the case for a lot of the LGBTQI community. That's not the case for a lot of people with different abilities and disabilities, a lot of people with vaginismus. And also, it's just boring. Why would we want to have penetration and orgasm every time? We want all of that beautiful stuff that comes beforehand. We want to be having almost like, it's like foreplay is your whole sexual menu, right? It's like oral sex, that's sex. That doesn't have to be just one component of it. Go down on me, and then I've had a great time, and this is our sex life for tonight, and I'll see you in a few days or next week or whenever.
Can we go into the foreplay a bit more? Because I
Mm,
know for me, foreplay in my mind is oral sex and kissing.
mm,
Am I missing quite a bit more foreplay? I feel, is there
mm.
like, is there, I'll take that as a yes. I feel like you're looking at me like, okay, so I'm just gonna pencil you in for 9:20 on Tuesday because girl, we got some shit to talk about.
Look, don't feel bad about it at all. That's fine. It's just you're on the spot right now and you're nervous. That's why you said that. There are so many other things that we can do. I really think that you have to look at the body as a whole, and then what you spoke about is very genital orientated. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes.
Um, it's a lot about engaging really straight to the point in terms of this is what I see in movies, this is what I'm going to do, this is what sex is. You have to almost look at it like, you're Maggie and you're like, hey Chantal, like I don't want to do this in our sex life, but I will do this. And I go, cool Maggie, like I don't want to do this, but I'll do this. And then we have this like beautiful like amount of tasks and like activities that we can do. And maybe that's like sensual massage. Maybe that's the whole erotic experience. Maybe we add in a happy ending at the end there. Maybe it's, just massaging each other's bums. But if we have that same amount of tasks every single time, that same menu every single time that we get intimate with each other, we're eating leftovers, technically. It's like having spaghetti bolognese every single night. You get bored. You want to have different cuisines. You want to have different spices. You
Yes.
want to try different menus. So, what I suggest you do is actually just strip back your sex life and maybe start with like 2 weeks of having intimate time, or 3 weeks, especially as a new mum, having intimate time with each other where you're not touching any erogenous zones, where you're not even kissing, where you're looking in each other's eyes and you're touching each other and you're feeling what it feels like to have those sensations. And maybe you're adding in like a feather, or maybe you're adding in some oil, just amping up that tension that you have between each other, like when you had limerence, which is the first 18 months of a relationship where you're like, oh, we're in love, we're going to have babies, we're together forever. And it's when all your hormones are kind of raging. And then after 18 months, 2 years, you figure out, oh my God, like I have to wake up with this person every day. And like, how are we going to keep this up? And all those hormones are gone. You have to change the way that you behave. And you have to change the way that you do things to keep it exotic and exciting. So, if you move beyond that stage one of like not touching erogenous zones, not kissing, and just being with each other, you can move on to stage two where you go, you know what, I'm really comfortable for you to like massage my boobs tonight, or I'd really like if you tried a clitoral vibrator on me, or maybe we can try like backdoor play, something like that, and just stage it, but no penetration in the second stage. So nothing goes inside you. It's just about outer course, outer play, right? And
Yeah.
then you can experiment with that a little bit, see what you can do to stretch your sexual line. Then you can go, you know what, I'm ready to try and have intercourse, but I just don't want to go back to the same menu that we had beforehand where we got a little bit bored.
No, I get that. My
Mm,
husband and I have been together for over 10 years.
mm,
And I think it's like just now that I enjoy my body and I can enjoy myself by myself,
mm,
that our sex life is better than ever because I'm more open to kind of introducing new things and introducing toys. Because
mm,
I did a poll on my Instagram and there was more than 50% of women said that there was no toys used in the bedroom.
mm.
So how would you start a conversation, or how would you start introducing toys or feathers or different things like that into the bedroom. Because one of the things that came up was that many women were like, I want to introduce toys, I want to introduce this, but I feel like he's going to think that he's not enough.
Yeah, which is such a weird one. You know, this is something that we've been taught, like women don't get taught about pleasure. We get taught that toys are like replacing our person, you know, replacing our sexual partner. Whereas they're not, they're just an extension of our sexual selves. These are things to help bring pleasure into the bedroom. And for women, we need a lot of that. We need a lot of pleasure focused on our clitoris. We want to have different things, different types of fun. If you're worried about it, if you have a male partner, then I would suggest saying, hey, I want to give you a sensual massage, and then I'm going to use this male masturbator on you tonight. I saw it on this IGTV with Maggie and Chantel, and, you know, it's really great. So just, blame it on me. That's fine. I think it's about saying, you know, I've heard it's really great, and say, I've got this toy too. I'd really love for you to use it on me. And if you've got a female partner, say, you know what, I've got this great clitoral vibrator that I found everyone talking about, and I think it would be really good for us to give it a go, because it's like having oral sex, but a little bit different. And if I use that on myself, I want you to be like touching my boobs, or I want you to be playing with your fingers in this hole. You know, it's about really, really just being accepting and being motivating yourself. If your partner's like, no, 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 then you need to kind of say, well, what is it that you're scared of here? Because I'm asking you to be part of this experience with me. I could do this by myself, but I don't want to. I really want this to be something to highlight and, make our sexual life expansive. It's really fun as it is, and we're going to make it more fun. And also, our partners are always a little bit sensitive. So like, let's just try and amp it up and praise them and shower them with love in the meantime.
I love that. I have to say, before my husband, I had never orgasmed. I'm an actress, and I acted my ass off because I didn't know that women needed more stimulation than just penetration, because really I didn't have sex ed. I went to a Christian school, so I didn't have that. And, you watch movies and it's very much not like real life, but that's all I kind of knew. So I think there was a lot of women that said, even in the polls, that they needed clitoral stimulation to reach orgasm. Is that quite a high percentage of women that need that extra stimulation?
So 70% of women cannot orgasm through penetration alone. 70%. They need to have clitoral sen. Yeah, I have a lot of people coming into me saying, I can't have an orgasm. And I go, what about when you're by yourself? And they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. It's just with my partner that I can't do that. And it's because there's just not enough attention put on that area. And also, I think when we get used to our own hands and our, toys and our private time, we know how to hit the spot. When you're with a partner, it'll take on average around 25 minutes to get to that place where you're climatic, and you need to have your mind in it. We don't want you thinking about your to-do list or your washing or the dishes.
Oh my gosh, 100%. If my mind goes to the dishes, I'm like, nah, I can't. You have to be so focused.
Yeah. Hi, G. My best friend just jumped on the live. Yeah. So I think it is about just saying, you know what, I'm going to give myself permission to drop into this. I'm going to show you how I like to find pleasure in myself. And you're going to have the major kind of skills to do this. We just need to focus on it a little bit more, because as much as we didn't learn about pleasure, as much as we didn't learn about female orgasm, neither did our partners. None of us got great sex ed. We have to teach each other. A lot of us turn to porn for that, but porn is not meant to be educational. It's meant to be entertaining. It taught a lot of people how to have sex, but I think that we have to be experts on ourselves before we let someone else in to show us how to do it. And a lot of people don't know how to get their orgasm with their partner. That's why I have a career.
Yes, this is true.
Mm,
Um, so for the women that can or for the women that look at sex as a chore, as
mm,
just another thing to do,
mm,
what advice would you kind of give those women that go, it feels like a chore right now. I do want that back with my partner, but
mm.
right now it feels like a chore. Is that something that,
Yeah,
what
that's
advice?
common.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really common. I think especially right now as well, during Corona, we have to remember that we just don't have that much distance between our partners. We're with them a lot, and we need to have a bit of distance to be able to cultivate desire. We need to be able to go, oh, I see my partner doing what they do best, and I'm just so into that. And look at them caring for me, and that's really hot. But also, we need to have time to be able to go, hey, what can I do to, take care of myself? What am I going to do to feel really good? You have to prioritize yourself. You have to prioritize sex as well. And I would suggest getting some music, getting a sexy playlist. I have one on Spotify, which has apparently turned people's sex lives around. And it's just really sensual, really sexy, and it gives you the opportunity to drop into a sensual zone. I would suggest doing some dancing around. I would suggest putting on body oil, getting in touch with your own skin, having a room that's clean and a beautiful environment that makes you feel really good. Hi, Jill. My partner's on here as well. I love you.
Yeah,
um,
she's killing it, Dylan. I'm also doing very well, but thanks, Jill. That's okay.
and making sure that you have that environment, and also maybe asking your partner to set up a sexy time for you too. It doesn't always have to be your responsibility. Get them to ask them, I'd really love for you to create a romantic night for us in bed, and have some plans. The Spotify playlist is public. It's just under Chantal Otten, sexologist, so you can look it up. But I think with anything in life, in a relationship, it takes two to tango, and you really have to. Yeah, he said, you
Thank you,
too, Maggie.
Dylan. And thank you,
Um,
Yasmina. Love you too.
it really is like both of you that have to come to the table, and you both have to focus on it. And if you're not feeling it, then I would suggest asking your partner to give you a sensual massage and see how it goes from there, and vice versa. Give them a sensual massage. Often that makes me feel like way better when I give it to my partner, because I love seeing him enjoy it. And for me, that's erotic.
So I might be behind the times, but it's almost like what I'm learning from you is that having being intimate with your partner just doesn't, it's not just penetration. There's so many more aspects to intimacy and a sex life than just
Mm.
penetration.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things you can do. I would break up the body into different parts. You've got the face, you've got the feet, you've got the legs, you've got the bum, you've got the cooch, you've got the breasts, you've got the stomach, explore every single area, play around with it, get some toys to help you out with it, lots of lubricant, of course, good music in your ears, create an environment that you feel erotic in. Maybe read some
With
erotic or literature beforehand, or listen to audio porn.
there's audio porn?
Yeah, and I've got a new podcast. I keep forgetting. It's coming out in like 24 hours, where I am
Oh,
reading people's erotic stories that they have sent in to me. So you have this voice, if you like it, in your ear, um, reading out people's erotic stories that they've experienced. And honestly, it's a real turn on. It's a really good one.
I feel like you've got a voice for voiceover. For someone in voiceover,
Thank
I
you.
feel like this is a path for you. Um, Another thing that a lot of people asked was how to kind of introduce toys in the bedroom.
Mm.
And can I ask, so what would you say would be a good first toy for someone that is like, I don't know. And I even know I went on one website and I was looking at toys and I'm looking at it and I'm like, where does that go? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do with that.
yeah, absolutely. Well, on most of the websites, they have videos to show you how to use those toys, but I would suggest if you're looking for a toy that you can use through penetration, then getting one that is internal, like a G spot one. There's ones that are curved like this, sits up inside the G spot. This bit sits on the clitoris and then it vibrates. So if you have a partner with a penis, it can slip underneath and you can feel the good vibrations and still have penetration. My favorite is always a clitoral stimulator because you can use that on yourself while your partner is behind you or playing with you or using their fingers. That's a really beautiful one to use, especially also when you're on top. And, you know, if your partner is also into backdoor play, you can get a prostate massager, which both of you can use, even though women don't have prostates. Um, and you can get ones that are app controlled and that have also remote control so you can change the intensity levels. Those would probably be my starters, and a silicone male masturbator for those with a penis, which you can get ones with a little vibrator on them. So you just put some lubricant inside and you move it up and down the penis. It's really good for those who aren't really keen on giving oral sex to their partners. And that might just want to have a little bit of a break from having penetration as well. It's kind of a great alternative.
I must admit, I didn't realize there was toys for men, but just gonna
Yes,
put
darling.
that one aside. I feel like you're looking at me like, oh, sweetie.
That's all right. We'll talk about it later.
Um, I also had a lot of women that said the question was, how often should we be having sex with our partners? I think it's almost like, I feel like there was a lot of pressure in that question. Like, oh, if we're not having sex once a week, then we're not any, like, it's not any good. But
Mm.
what would you, for someone that came to you and said, well, how many times a week should we be having sex if we're having a good sex life? What would your answer be?
There's no right answer. Having sex when you want to have sex is the right answer because there is no normal. Everyone has their own ideals. Of course, there will be one person that wants to have sex more for a period of time and then another person that doesn't. So it's about just chatting about it and negotiating it. I find that too many people tend to pursue without having the conversation. So just if you notice that your partner has a lower sex drive, or if you have a lower sex drive, then just saying, um, hey, you know, I love you. I'm just not feeling that erotic right now. So this is what I need from you. And this is what I'm going to do to work on it. Then that will help a little bit. Of course, if you're not feeling that great, then just book a session and let me help you out with it. That's my job to do that.
Um, I think also I feel like what you're saying is that a lot of the time it's communication and we don't
Yeah.
actually tell our partners what we want, how we're feeling, boundaries. And it's kind of like it all starts with that, really.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. I think that sex can be easy to talk about with our friends, but it's the hardest thing to talk about with our partners often because it can be taken really personally. And what we just need to do is take the personal out of it and see that we've got a human in front of us that just needs to have this conversation, you know, that needs to put it out there. Because if we're in a monogamous relationship, we can't get that pleasure from anywhere else. We can get a lot of things from other places. We can have fun. We can create our own financial stability. You know, we can have confidants. They don't have to be in our relationship, our intimate relationship. But sex, if you're in a monogamous pair, then you have to get it from your partner. And I think that if you don't have that kind of communication with each other, you're gonna find it challenging to face those hurdles that you have through different stages in life.
And how do you go about people that are in a monogamous relationship? You have one that wants to explore toys or explore things, but
Mm.
then you have the other partner who's like, no, I don't want to.
Then it's going to be really challenging, to be honest, because the first thing to be able to move forward is to have the right motivation. It's not my job to change anyone's view on that. It's their job to come around and go, okay, my partner wants to try toys and I don't. What are the reasons why? You know, people get really scared, and I think it's fear that comes up. Whereas at the end of the day, you're holding someone back, right? And I'm not saying that if your partner wants to go full kink BDSM and, you know, be inflicting pain on each other, then that's the right way to go. But you can say, you know what, I'm not up for that now, but I'm up to trying this little bit now. So take little tiny steps forward with each other. But yeah, if you do have a partner that's really not into it, therapy or new partner, you know, or accept it.
I think that's very true because I think you're right. Like if someone's just going to say no, that's the roadblock,
Mm,
really.
mm,
Um, for people that have been with their partner for a long time, and we talked about this before, but where do you find resources that are like, okay, like you said, you know, you're having pasta every night and you want
mm.
to try something different. Where can you find the menu? Because I know for me, the only thing that I would know is like, oh, the Kama Sutra. I've never read it. I don't really know anything about it, but that's the first thing that comes to mind with me. Is there sites online or something that you can go and kind of
Mm.
find things?
Hopefully, people follow my Instagram. Secondly, OMGES is a really good website to learn about female pleasure. So, learning how to stimulate yourself, but also your partner can learn how to stimulate you in terms of your clitoris and your vulva area. But they have a second season now. I think it's like $49 and you have like a lifetime access. Then they have a second season, which is around penetration. These are really great guides for you. Um, what else? I think reading erotic literature is a really great thing. Where else could we find a menu? I think it's just about exploring, and there's a great book called Hot Sex. I don't know what the author's name is, but I think it's just about jumping online and researching. If you don't look for it, you're not going to find it, right?
Yeah,
You know, you need to be able to be motivated to go towards that. There's some really great kind of foreplay board games out there as well that are great. I think it's about exploring sites where there are sex toys involved too that will be able to help. You have to do the work together and be able to be open to what each other wants to do.
I love that. I didn't know that there were full play board games. After
Mm,
this, I'm literally going to go online and Google that.
mm.
Um, I wanted to open up. So if anyone has any questions, please throw them out so that we can, well, Chantel can answer them and I will learn along with you.
Sure.
Um,
I'm going to take my gum out of my mouth because it's gotten to that yuck stage. Here we go. I'm ready to go now.
you ready to party?
Yeah. So if anyone has
Any,
any questions, I'm happy to answer them now.
any at all?
Sensual massage, what is that? That's basically like a massage when you are naked together and you have candles there, you have your music going, and you know, sit on your partner's back and you give them a massage. And maybe you use your whole body, maybe you use your breasts to be part of that. You know, really getting deep there. Get the oil all over you. Be a little bit messy because, like, eroticism is messy. It's about the imagination and try and create a good environment where you feel like you can cultivate desire, you can cultivate imagination, you can drop into creating your own story, right?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. We had someone ask again a low libido.
Mm,
And for you, we started talking about that at the start, and that was, I'll let you kind of,
yeah. So low libido, we have to look at quite a few things. It's quite difficult to treat. It's because there's not just one factor. If you come to me and you say, you know what, like I have got an autoimmune disease, I've just had a baby, I'm caring for three kids, I don't have any time for myself, my partner's working, or I'm whatever, then I'm going to say to you, that doesn't sound like a recipe for a good sex life, because it doesn't. It sounds really stressful. And so when I spoke about like libido before, and in terms of you being on your bus and having accelerators, then we need to make sure that the accelerators are aligned, and there's more accelerators than there are brakes, right? So maybe a brake could be your mental health, your physical health, your environment, your interpersonal relationship, the way that your body feels, the way that you look, how you're fueling your body, what are you eating. A lot of mums go into eating a lot of sugar to fuel their days, and that's not going to work well with your sexual life. We need to be having healthy fats, we need to be having things that make you feel good, some dark chocolate, etc. And there needs to be some type of cardio or exercise in there as well, to just get your body moving a little bit more, and enough sleep. Right? We need to
I
have
have,
sleep.
I actually have a question for those that
Mm,
obviously they're in lockdown now and with kids, and the
mm,
kids are always around. That lack of
mm,
time.
mm.
How would
So
you?
quickies, I would suggest just doing little things, just saying, hey, oh my God, they're all watching TV. Come here, go down on me. That's it. That's all you need to do. Or
Oh, I love that.
I'm going to give you a blowjob, a sneaky blowjob. Sometimes having like people in the house can create a little bit of that like excitement as well. Lock the door, like kind of like when you were like a teenager and you used to sneak around. But it is about prioritizing it, and it's about saying yes and being open to it. Because a lot of the time when you're with your partner, you might not feel desire until your partner starts touching you in an erotic way. We call it responsive desire. You might need to be aroused in your body. You might need someone to be touching you, maybe even going down on you before you go, actually, yeah, I'm into it. You know, I think for a lot of women, they need to be aroused before they feel desire.
I get that. What
Mm.
about, is it normal to not be able to go instantly? Often hubby and I have a window when kids are asleep, but I feel like I need longer to get in the mood.
Mm.
Oh no, it's already been asked. We kind of answered that question.
Perfect.
Mm,
I'm Charlotte. I just wanted to know price of your appointment. Beautiful. Charlotte, maybe you can just DM me that one, because there's different prices for different people in my clinic as well. Hi, Pippa. I've lost all desire for anyone sexual, with myself or anyone else. Pippa, I'll sign you up to my sexual self-esteem course. You can just DM me. But again, I know Pippa. Pippa does a lot of things for other people. She doesn't do much for herself. And she's got a young child to take care of. When I last spoke to her, it was by herself. And that's really stressful. So if you're not feeling good, I suggest just start dancing in front of the mirror once in a while. You know, just start getting into your own groove, doing things that you used to find really fun that maybe as an adult you feel a little bit silly with. Tap into your inner child a little bit. Get playful. Do your hair. Dance in front of the mirror. Listen to Spice Girls. Whatever. That's going to make you feel good. That's going to put a pep in your step. And then that'll make you feel closer to wanting to be able to invite someone into your body. Self-pleasure a little bit more. Get that clitoral vibrator out. Listen to some audio porn. Start to turn this on, and the body will follow a little bit more.
and you kind of said it before when you said it's kind of, we have to take responsibility to find that pleasure in ourselves before we can invite that other person in. It's almost like our
Mm,
mind has to be ready for what our body wants to do, and vice versa.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There are days where we are just not going to feel it, so we just need some time to really put that effort in to turn ourselves on a little bit more.
What about for the women that don't masturbate or that
Mm,
find it difficult to even start?
mm. Well, firstly, if you don't masturbate, then that's fine. You're just missing out on a few things, that's all. And it's a little bit challenging to be able to teach someone how to help you if you don't know how to do that yourself, right? And not knowing where to start, that's where OMGES is really good because it teaches you how to masturbate. So omges.com would be a really great resource for you to have a look at.
Yeah, also someone saying that there's the shame associated with female
Mm,
masturbation because I think societies, we can talk a lot about, boys growing up and masturbating and it's just, oh, it's just a boy thing.
mm.
But there's not really a lot of chat about girls and women doing the same.
Absolutely. And that's just part of society, and that is just part of this patriarchy that we've grown up in that we don't need to adhere to at all. Um, Someone's just written on the screen that they've done the sexual self-esteem course and they feel really, really great. So maybe if people are a little bit wondering how to move or understand their own sexual self and how they got to that place where they have shame, why they have sex, what do they feel during sex? What are the associations that they have?
Can you
Then I would
explain to
suggest
me
doing that.
what sexual self-esteem is? What that means?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, it dropped out for a second there.
Sorry.
Sexual self-esteem is how you feel within your body, within the environment. So you might have self-esteem in being a mom. You might have confidence in being a mom, but you might not have confidence in being you again, in being Maggie again, right?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
Maggie? Maggie's not just a mom. Maggie's Maggie. Maggie's not just a wife. Maggie's Maggie or a partner, or a daughter. You have to tap into who you are as yourself. And I think that we let a lot of the time we try and turn to our partner to fulfill all those needs and to make us, we're going to be our best selves with our partner, whereas we can be the best selves with ourselves all the time. And we've got to do those things that make us feel really fucking great. So sexual self-esteem is how you come into the bedroom and how you show that confidence, right? How do you flirt with yourself? How do you flirt with that other person? How do you flirt with life? This is what this course is talking about. How do you feel good within this body? How do you accept this body? Um, it's just about building your own confidence and how you see yourself as an erotic person.
I've never thought of it like that, but that's very,
Mm,
very true. Because I see a psychologist and she said to me, who's Maggie's best friend? And I was like, are you talking about another person? Like, do I have to name one person? She's like, no,
mm.
who's your, like, inside of you? And we went through that there are all these, like you said, there's mother Maggie, daughter Maggie, friend Maggie, wife Maggie. And I haven't really stopped to think about the fact that there is sexual Maggie too.
We all have multiple personalities, right? So it's just about which of those personalities you can bring into the bedroom.
Um, how would you approach a selfish lover? Likes to take but not give back.
Get a new lover. I don't know. I think that's about, obviously sitting down. Maybe they don't mean to be selfish. Maybe they think that you like that. So just saying, hey, I'm having fun with you and I really like you as a partner. Would love if we could just focus on just a bit more of my pleasure. And if you could touch me here, that'd be really good. And just, use positive affirmations instead of being negative, because when we use negativity, it's not really going to work. You can only catch bees with honey. So,
Right. So it's almost like I not saying I don't like it when you do this, but
mm,
instead kind of saying I like it when you do
hey,
this
babe,
kind of
can you
thing.
touch me here? Hey, babe, that feels great. Oh, can you go harder? Wow, what you did in there was amazing. I love it when you focus on me. I love it when you go down on me. Da 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 da. Because if someone came into the bedroom and I was pleasing them and they went, I don't like it when you do that. I want you to do this. I'd be like, well, fuck you. I'm not going to do anything to you,
That is
right?
very true. That's so true.
You have to flip it around and imagine what it would be like. And
Yeah.
I think that sometimes we can get a little bit frustrated, whereas we have to be nice. Sometimes people don't know. That's the thing.
And I think again when so many of us are acting our asses off in the bedroom, they
Mm,
won't know. I had someone confide in me and say that they've been with their partner for a very long time,
mm.
and they had faked orgasming the
The entire
entire
time.
relationship. And
Mm.
the question was how, they didn't know how to bring that up.
Yeah, I
And
have
I
a
was
few
like,
people that did
oh,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
just I think explaining, first of all, there's a huge pressure in society for women to be a certain way in the bedroom, is probably the best way to go and just say, I need to talk to you. Coming to see a sexologist is a great idea so we can learn how you find pleasure, but also just saying to your partner, look, I feel really strange telling this to you. It's got nothing to do with you, and you're amazing, but it has everything to do with the pressure that has been put on myself, and put on women like me in society to be a certain way in the bedroom and to be able to, come on cue and to, have this explosive time. And to be honest, it really impacted me a lot in my youth and when I came into this relationship. Um, this is how I felt I had to behave, and then I just didn't know where to stop. So this is what's been happening. I'd love to move forward and work on this with each other, and hopefully we can be there to guide each other along the way, and that's all right.
and do you have couples that come to see you that have a good sex life but want to just kind of see what else is on the menu? Is that also
Mm,
something that,
yeah, just about going, hey, what's a new me? What's a new we? How do we, cultivate a different type of sexual relationship? I have that all the time. It's not just about problems, it's about development and growing. I see individuals of all stages and couples of all stages as well.
the other thing that, there was someone that asked their partner um, found it difficult to stay aroused.
Erect. I saw that one.
Yeah.
That's probably one that you need an appointment for. So for anyone who has questions during this session and that wants me to answer them, it would be really great if you could book an appointment at www.chantelotten.com, because I can't give out too much advice when I don't know you. I really need to do a thorough kind of assessment of what's going on from a biological, a psychological, a sociocultural, and an interpersonal view. I'm like a detective into your sex life, so I need to have a lot of kind of um, knowledge about you to be able to know which direction to take.
I also have a question about, I know that with my husband and I, when we were trying to have a baby,
Mm,
sex changed
yeah,
because it was no longer
regimented.
for, yeah, it was like, oh, today's the day. And I know we
Mm,
had a fight this morning, but we need to do this. This is the day.
yeah.
Um, what would be your advice for people that are looking to have a baby and they get in that rut of we have to have sex now and
Mm.
that kind of thing?
Look, that's really, really common. Sex is not erotic. It becomes really regimented, really forced. And I just, implore people to have a really good time at the end of the day. You don't need to be having sex a couple of times a day, every single day during that ovulation period time, because semen can last inside the body for 24 hours to 48 hours or so. So we want to have it maybe like every 2 days. Every day is kind of good, but just try and have fun a little bit too. I think that the more stressed you are, the more problematic your sex life is going to become. And then when you do fall pregnant, you have sex for fun again. You've got to still incorporate foreplay. You've got to still incorporate those fun things like sensual massages. You've got to go, you know what, we had an argument. Let's put our differences to the side and let's try and make this baby and have a little bit of fun. Can you do this to me? Use your sense of humor. At the end of the day, that is your partner and you're doing great things together. So we want to make sure that you're having fun in that process. But again, it's another reason why people come see me as a sexologist, to help break up that regimen.
Find that there's more to the menu than just pasta.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rewatch this and write down all the sites, and I I really want to have a look at that foreplay.
Mm.
What did you say? The foreplay game?
Yeah, you Google it. I can send you a link for it. That's fine.
Yeah, that's a tip that I'm gonna be
Um,
writing down.
One of my
Um,
patients used it on the weekend and she just said it was amazing and she was like really emotional about it. So I have all the tips and tricks. Just contact me and it'll be great.
and I need to download your Spotify playlist.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited for that. I'll make sure that I
Mhm.
put all the links to your website, your Spotify, the OMG, yes, the board game.
Mm,
I'll make sure I save this live because I want to say thank you because I feel like so many of us want to talk about these things, but we just
mm,
don't know how to or the language or
mm.
so
My pleasure.
it's really nice. Does anyone have any questions before our live runs out in a few minutes? Yeah, you need to book a session, so do I. I'm with you there.
The podcast is
Oh,
going to
and the
called Sexy
podcast.
Stories. So if anyone has any sexy stories, you just email them to me at sexystories@chantelotten.com. And if you can make it like in first person, like, and I touched you here and you touched me there, that would be really great. And just, bulk it out so I have, 5 to 10 minutes to talk about things.
Are you going to put on a voice or are you just going to use that beautiful, soothed, dulcet tone?
It's just going to be me.
That's amazing. Because I know when
Mm.
I do voiceover, it has to be like, "Hi, I'm Maggie, and it's nice to meet you, but I
Yeah.
don't talk like this in real life."
Wow, that's really crazy that you can do that. I love
Yeah.
it. No, it's just going to be
Um,
me.
uh,
Can you come from penetration only if it has never happened? Yeah, so not everyone can come through penetration because you've got to have the reason why people do come is because the clitoris actually goes inside the body for about 7 centimeters on both sides of the vagina. It's like a wishbone shape, like this. So there's a vagina in between there, and the clitoris is on both sides. And basically, the penis or the finger or the vibrator is rubbing against the clitoral nerve endings, but on the inside of the vagina because they're around the walls there. So if you're up on top of your partner and on a 45-degree angle, then often that's a really good position to be able to feel that penetration and to be able to feel that kind of friction. And you have to be doing a lot of repetitive movements. And then one trick that I like to use is say to people, and you're going to laugh at me, I want you to do like mindfulness work where you're breathing in and then you imagine that you're breathing out through your vagina. And you might feel something.
I don't feel anything at this point in time, but I am going to try the breathing through my vagina.
I've practiced a lot. That is the way that I first had a penetrative orgasm, through being on top and just going, blocking out and just focusing on the breathing down through my vagina. It's a great way to go.
Yes, I learned from, I don't know what I was watching. It was the Gwyneth Paltrow Goop on, have you seen it? And it all
I
about,
started watching it, but I didn't finish it. It's really
well,
bad. I
trust
need
me,
to.
I started watching it and I finished, if you get what I
Mm,
mean. It was very good.
mm, good. Okay. I'll have to watch it.
Well, one thing that I learned that I didn't realize and I couldn't believe that I didn't even think about it was that women's vulvas and vaginas look different.
Yeah,
Like
they're all
everyone's,
different.
yeah, I didn't, when I learned it, I was like, well, yeah, of course, but it's something that I didn't even think about.
Yeah, women get really ashamed of how their vulvas look, and that's just because we can't see them because they're down between our legs, whereas men can see each other's genitals. So they know there's a huge amount of variation. If you don't know what other vulvas look like, you can go to the vulva gallery, which is, if you just Google it, it'll come up with pictures of different women's vulvas.
Thank you. We have 27 seconds. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your information, for the sessions that I'm going to book, and for all of the websites that I need to look up right now.
That's all right. It's my pleasure. Thanks everyone for coming. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
100%.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.